Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of TB&J Podcast.
You got real far into that one before you started singing.
Because I wanted you to think I wouldn't do it, and then I did it.
You succeeded.
I sure did it. Hello, everyone currently driving or at the gym or whatever else you do when you're listening to a podcast.
Fighting crime.
Personally, I like to listen to podcasts when I'm at work by myself, when everybody leaves the office, and I just do my own shit.
In your chamber, in your podcast chamber.
In my chamber of podcast secrets, yes. Yes. Last episode.
Why are you always naked in those?
The last episode of Invincible for 2023. Let's get into it.
TB&J!
It's not the season finale. It's the mid-season finale.
People online are very, very mad.
I have no idea why.
TB&J!
Why would you be upset?
TB&J!
It's not like we waited a year and a half for 4 episodes of our season, and then they told us, "Oh, you'll get your next 4 whenever we feel like feeding them to you. You good little dog shits."
They did say early January or something like that, right?
No.
I thought they gave a date already.
Spring.
I don't think that's. I thought I
Yep.
heard
Nope.
January.
Not that I know of. I will corroborate that real quick. Invincible Season 2.
I'm vamping. I'm doing the vamp.
2024.
I was pretty sure it was early January.
Oh, God. No, I'm not disabling ad block. No, early 2024 is the only thing they've said. Officially. 2024. Yep. They do not give anything more specific than that. No January.
I thought I did. Anyway,
Nope.
I believe you, but
Nope. There is no other information. Yeah, it's just early January. 3 different articles, and here's a Reddit thread, and it's just all early 2024. That's when we'll get it.
Right.
Even if it was, I don't believe January for a fucking second at all. There's no fucking way we're getting it January. I think February, if I want to be hopeful, if I had to bet on it, I would say March. I'm just being straight.
Right.
There's no fucking way we're getting it before March. If I have to put money down on it, I'd like to lose that bet. I would really like to lose that bet and get it way before March, but I highly fucking doubt it. Anyway, so Invincible Season 2, Episode 4. Mark and Nolan are on the fucking planet with the bug people, and we meet Nolan's new wife, and they fucking tongue each other right there, which was really fucking weird. And then we see Mark's got a fucking half brother there. There's this little purple baby thing, and so let me see if I'm understanding this correctly.
Yeah.
So the bug people, their entire lifespan is a year in human speak, like in human terms. This baby is supposed to age like that because he's half bug, but because of Nolan's Viltrumite DNA, he's aging a lot slower.
Yeah.
So I guess in theory he will age similarly to a human, maybe slightly sped up. I imagine that gives them some leeway to have, like, the purple baby in Season 2, and then, like, the purple toddler in Season 3, and then the purple teenager in Season 4.
Yes.
I imagine it might go something like that. It's that you can have an adult by the end of the show or middle of the show without needing to actually wait, like, 15 years in show time.
Right.
Which is, that's convenient for writing, I suppose, but... What do you think? What do you think of Mark having a fucking half brother?
So the half brother's interesting. This whole episode's interesting because it's not really about that yet, and it will be.
Yeah. That brother's got a part to play, but not yet.
They go into a whole bunch of the Viltrumites can only breed with species that are close enough. So Mark, they're like, we're all about it. Hey, want to help us conquer Earth? And this baby, they're like, it's purple, kill it. Like being purple, I guess, is just enough to.
As if the Viltrumites weren't bad enough being world dominating conquerors, they also made them racist. They had to throw that in there too and just be like, no, not these ugly, hideous bug things. No, thank you. You will die.
I also like the super kind of, I don't want to say on the nose because that sounds like it's negative, but it is very on the nose of them just being like, yeah, Nolan really cares about these bugs, these literal bugs who are beneath him.
But didn't care about the humans on Earth. But I mean, that does a really that does a lot of heavy lifting to show us that Nolan has absolutely changed as a person between when we last saw him to now. I mean, when we last saw him, he was beating the shit out of Mark, and then he flew off crying after Mark said, like, I would have you, Dad. It's just, okay, that's pretty touching, and we didn't know what Omni-Man was going to do. Now we get a look into what actually transpired between then and now. The dude drifted in space for God knows how long, growing out his facial hair and just being a disheveled, depressed piece of shit, ready to throw himself into a black hole.
I have a question for you. Do you think that he's 100% sure that black hole would have killed him?
No, he's not. Viltrumites are really fucking hard to kill unless someone of similar strength kills you. I mean, he says himself that aging is basically not going to happen. He'll keep going for thousands and thousands of years, and his body is damn near indestructible unless it's met with something of a similar force. I would imagine the only thing I could do to kill myself is a black hole, or maybe try to snap my own neck with my hands. I genuinely don't know what else you'd be able to do in that scenario. You can't just fucking eat a bullet like a human because that's just not going to work. All right? But it was so...
You need a super bullet.
Yeah. Shut the fuck up.
Bullet with a little cape on it.
I fucking hate you so much. But it was, my eyes were glued to the screen. I could not look away the whole fucking montage, and I was just completely drawn in. The music was perfect. Mm-hmm. The scene playing out, the animation was perfect. It basically mirrored, beat for beat, Debbie's walk from the bar to Nolan's grave. Just the timing of the scene changes and the focus on their face as it comes down, and then behind them as they're looking on. It was almost, I guess the direction. Animated shows have directors, I guess, right?
Yeah, they do.
Yeah, of course they do. I know things. I'm on a review podcast. The director did a really fucking great job just mirroring their suffering
just
and their
sorrow. Just a guy with a megaphone standing behind animators like, make them sad! Make them sadder! Sadder!
Keep drawing, you maggots! But it was just so fucking cool seeing the dichotomy between Nolan's spiral down into wanting to throw himself into a black hole and Debbie just absolutely losing it at Nolan's grave and then coming to the conclusion of refuting all of the book money. She wants nothing to do with Nolan's books at all anymore. Cecil keeps his dirty money, and she doesn't feel like she owes him anything, so she can just move on past Cecil, past the GDA. I think she said she's moving.
Mm-hmm.
So that
she's
even
selling the house and everything.
Yeah. So she's just gonna completely change her life and leave all of this behind, start over completely anew. I wonder if she's gonna move to a new city even. Like I don't know where exactly they are. I assume they're near-ish DC, especially if the Global Defense Agency's headquarters is nearby. I would assume they're in like the DMV area. That stands for DC, Maryland, Virginia. For those of you that don't live around there. But I don't know exactly where. Super fucking awesome to see that change. I really loved all the fight shit between Omni-Man, Invincible, and the three Viltrumites.
This is kind of a perfect Invincible episode because it's like it has maybe the most emotional bits and also some of the
most
actual,
bloody bits.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
It's like if you were like, if somebody was like, hey, what's this show about? And you were just like, watch this episode. And you just put that on. They'd be very confused. But also
they'd be like, whoa.
They would get it.
Absolutely. Dude, he fucking karate chopped a man's intestines out and then drove a stalactite through that and pinned him to a wall. And that didn't kill him. He came back. He came back just in time to kick Omni-Man in the spine. Oh man, and it was so. I'd always wondered, watching the rest of season 1 and season 2, like, how much of Mark is human, because he does get his ass kicked a lot.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't die. He comes relatively close, maybe, but he always bounces right back, fully heals, and he still packs a punch, but nowhere near the level of Omni-Man, or at least not that we've seen. So I was always curious, like, all right, so he's half Viltrumite, half human. I guess half Viltrumite means that your power levels are considerably scaled back. You are nowhere near as strong as Omni-Man. But then we have this moment here where Omni-Man talks to Mark and says, listen, you need to stop holding back or we are going to get killed. And Mark says, I don't kill people. And Omni-Man says, you need to kill people or you will be killed. That is how this works, which might be a harsh lesson, and for some, and for people that empathize more with Mark, they might think that that's wrong. But in this instance, the Viltrumites will not stop at just being defeated. You have to kill them to end it. You can't just, put them in a corner and say, bad Viltrumite, you stop this. No, you really gotta let go. You gotta fucking punch them into nothing. You gotta kill them.
Although, very noticeably, he does not end up actually killing anybody.
No, he doesn't. Right, but as soon as he stops holding back and starts throwing punches, it's like, oh shit, he goes toe-to-toe with all of these Viltrumites. He has been holding back for the last season and a half, and now we're actually seeing Mark unleash his full potential for just a couple minutes. But it was so fucking awesome to watch it, and also, you're a huge fighting game guy. You love Mortal Kombat.
I've been playing Omni-Man specifically.
The female Viltrumite with a dagger in her ponytail. Mm-hmm. Tell me that's not a Mortal Kombat character.
It should be. I'd play it.
That's definitely a fighting game character somewhere. It has to be, right? Like it's too campy. It's too, I don't know what the exact word I'm looking for is, but it's definitely in that realm.
Somebody will steal it eventually if it's not already in something. If this wasn't stealing for something.
Why is there not like a Super Smash Brothers style, just Invincible characters? You have tons of superheroes. You could do a fucking Marvel vs. Capcom, but just have Invincible versus Invincible.
Call Kirkman.
You know what? I should do that.
Pull out your Kirkman phone. It's like the Powerpuff Girls phone. It has a little blinking light on the.
But it looks like the Image Comics logo.
Yeah,
and just the little dot on the eye blinks.
Still a cute little face though.
It's still a cute little face. No, it's actually a zombie head from Walking Dead.
Ooh.
And you pick up the scalp, and that's how you answer the phone. Yeah. You didn't like that, did you?
I mean, I did like that. I was oohing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You want to just dismember a head every time you have to answer the phone?
Yeah, why not?
It's a real head. It actually moans at you.
Oh, okay. Brain inside? Exposed when you answer the phone?
Yeah, and real eyes that stare at you no matter what you're doing and wherever you're walking in the house.
Now, is there a risk that if it bites you when you try to pick up the phone,
it
turns you into
yeah.
Okay, that's risky.
You contract the virus. It's risky, but you need that one-way phone call to get to Robert Kirkman. Wherever he is, that phone will instantly link you to his iPhone or whatever the fuck he's got. You know what? I bet Kirkman's an Android guy. I bet he doesn't have an iPhone.
What do you answer?
He might look at it and say, like, who's this? And then just send it to voicemail. Troy, what's your favorite part?
I am really, really about the two of them, Nolan and Mark, arguing.
Oh, yeah.
And it sort of gives this vibe. It's an interesting episode because it doesn't feel... It has all of the trappings of a redemption arc, but in a way that I'm like, well, you can't really redeem any of Omni-Man's stuff. So it feels almost more like a forgiveness arc without the redemption, which is interesting.
Absolutely.
Like, he's not going back to Earth, and nobody's going to look at him and be like, we all, people of Earth, forgive you for these things.
That's never going to happen. Yeah. And he says as much. He says, I can't ever go back to Earth, but I have this here. I've made a new life. I actually care about these people. Can you help me save their lives?
It's way more about moving on after you do a thing than actually, like, getting redeemed for that thing.
Which is fine, and it's also, like, a lot more realistic than if he were to be forgiven and go back to Earth and everyone's like, oh, that's cool, you're fine. Like, no, this is fucking awesome. This is super fucking cool.
It's an extra layer of it's a pretty complex sort of emotion to kind of give to both Nolan and Mark of this whole interaction where they're just sort of like, well, like, fuck you.
Yeah.
But, like, I don't know, you got this going for you now, and I don't want you to not have that.
Right.
But also fuck you for having it in the first place and not having it in the first place that you had it.
Mm-hmm.
But now you have it here, and that's kind of okay, but still fuck you.
Exactly. You did murder thousands of people. You destroyed half of Chicago. And, that's not cool, but I'm glad that you finally found your zen, and you're finally a good guy, and this other planet, like millions of light years away, where no one's really going to find you, except Viltrum, obviously. Do you think Omni-Man is going to have, like, a full redemption arc? Do you think it'll come around to where, like, if and when he inevitably dies, we'll be sad about it, and it won't be like he got his comeuppance?
I think that if he dies, they will make it'll be sad. I think in my mind, coming off of this episode, I'm hoping that it's way more complex than I'm glad the bad guy died, or it's sad that he redeemed himself and died. Like, this should be the most, like, well, yeah, he should be dead, but also it is sad for these people, but also I'm happy for these other people.
Well,
like,
if the big overarching story of going against the Viltrum Empire, if that comes to fruition, we're gonna need soldiers to fight Viltrum.
Sure.
What better than a Viltrumite?
Mm-hmm.
So I think we need Omni-Man in this fight. If he does go full redemption, we're going to need him to be a good guy for at least a minute or two while we take out some Viltrumites before he bites it.
That type of thing will happen.
Provided he doesn't get executed.
Well, I don't think he's going to get executed. The thing I could see is him being saved.
How do you execute a Viltrumite? I guess they've got weapons.
Viltrum guillotine.
It's
a super guillotine that has a little cape on it.
You know what? You've earned it. I just remembered during the when Nolan is beating the fuck out of Mark, or not before that actually, when he's telling him the story of the Viltrum Empire and how they whittled themselves down to the strongest. You see like a war between them, and they've got like spears and shit they're stabbing each other with. So I guess it might be like Krypton, where you need to have like a kryptonite spear to stab Superman.
Sure.
I don't fucking know. Whatever. Anyway, your point.
Where was I going? Oh, I was gonna say one thing I could see is them turning around and being like, "Oh, well, Omni-Man is sort of kind of a better dude now. Maybe he can help." Oh, he's paralyzed from the waist down for the rest of the show now that he was kicked in the spine. Like a thing.
Mark got full teeth back.
Sure. I'm just saying I can see them doing a thing where they're like, he can't help because X.
Sure, yeah. I mean, he can't ever go back to Earth.
Sure.
So if they just focus the fight on Earth, then Omni-Man will probably be benched. Or he'll be secluded to space. I don't even know where to begin with that. But that's one way they could bench him without, like, killing him or anything.
Also, we should mention the episode ends with another Viltrumite played by Clancy Brown.
Krieg. Krieg is his name.
Oh, the Viltrumite?
They say his name. His name is Krieg. As in Blitzkrieg.
Right.
Which apparently comic readers are pissed about because they always read it as Craig all these years.
Oh.
Because they spell it weird.
Mm-hmm.
And apparently Nolan's Viltrumite name is Nolan.
Mm-hmm.
Like NOWL''AHN. So on Earth, he was Nolan because that's kind of his name. But on Viltrum, he's Nolan. I don't fucking know. The comics are weird with Viltrumite names, and the show seems to just like completely throw all that away. And they're like, "Fuck it, this is Krieg," and he's like this big bad Viltrumite guy who fucking Mark bleeding out, wound in the middle of his chest, says "fuck you," and Krieg without thinking just punches him right in the face, and then just shakes the blood off, and he's like, "All right, where were we?" I love having more bad guys in the show.
But now we have a situation where, once again, not only is there new Guardians of the Globe run by the Immortal and Cecil having a Viltrumite as his side guy who also goes out and does things, who is also the son of Omni-Man and the guy who killed all the other Globe members. But now he also has been sort of forced into the role of maybe trying to take over Earth.
There's no way that happens.
No, but I'm saying that it's more mounting evidence more mounting pressure to lead to the Immortal being like, I gotta kill this kid.
Oh, yeah, there's definitely going to be an Immortal Invincible fight, for sure. Which, out of context, saying Immortal versus Invincible, that's fucking stupid. That's just a dumb name for a fight. But it's definitely going to happen. There's no two ways around it. Angstrom Levy is definitely getting involved. I have no idea to what extent. He's only shown up like twice, I think, since the first episode. So maybe he's a bigger.
Has he even shown up twice?
Once at least.
Yeah, he was in the one side universe with the female Donald, female Cecil.
Yeah.
And
I hope they're still named Cecil and Donald.
It would be Cecilia and Donna.
No, it's Cecil and Donald.
Okay, sorry.
That's their names.
Sorry, I didn't mean to offend you.
Anyway, it would be super cool. Speaking of fucking Donald, what do you think's going on with our boy?
So he's pretty much a robot for sure.
Yeah. So Donald found the crater of the house, and he found a pair of glasses that were just like his. So he did some digging and saw the video footage of Omni-Man killing him. So he did the only logical thing, I guess, and stabbed himself with a knife to see if he bled. And he did, but the tip of the knife got bent and crinkled.
Man, he really he's either smarter or more paranoid than I am. I'd pick that up and be like, wow, that's so weird. They had the same glasses as me. And I would have never looked past it.
You never would have looked past it.
Maybe I'm just dumb or too
When
trusting.
you are Cecil's number 2,
That's
you're
true.
probably more than a little paranoid.
That's not incorrect.
Yeah. He even had fucking Cecil's password to get into the computer. And I don't imagine Cecil hands that out.
His password 1234.
Damn it.
Yeah.
Really gotta up our security at the GDA. What the fuck are we doing?
Same thing on my luggage.
Same thing on your luggage? Password 1234?
Well, no, it was the Spaceballs bit.
Oh, I didn't put that together.
Yeah, I mean, people mostly on this podcast say that I'm sort of as funny as Mel Brooks.
Nobody
There's
in the history of the world
thing that people say.
has
The History
ever.
of the World Part 1?
No. You might be History of the World Part 2. You're definitely not Part 1.
Yeah.
Anywho, what did you think of Omni-Man's ominous speech at the very end where he tells Mark to read his books? What do you think that's about?
I mean, it read almost as a thing of like, I'm dying, I did do great things, please look into me, but I feel like you don't.
There's no way in hell Omni-Man in that moment gives a shit about whatever Nolan Grayson did on Earth. There's no way in hell. Those books mean something.
Sure.
And
that's where I was going that way eventually.
I fucking... So I'm on Reddit, and they suggested the Invincible subreddit to me, which apparently is the comic subreddit. So people are watching the show and then being like, oh, that's neat. I like that they took that direction. I wonder what that means for this incredibly big
Jesus
spoiler
Christ.
plot line that happens in like 500 issues. So like I have little bits and pieces of spoilers that are like so far down the line that I don't even make sense of them yet. But I do have one for this, and I'm going to refrain from telling it to you now.
I appreciate it. The viewers also appreciate it.
But it definitely means something, and I'm very, 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 very fascinated to see where it goes. Because there's no way Nolan gives a fuck about the books. He doesn't. He wrote those just to fucking make money, and said he wouldn't have to ever do a real job as in Omni-Man. Because being an author is not a real job, okay? Psh, come on. I'm just kidding.
Being a
Authors.
podcaster is.
I mean, we don't get paid.
Not yet. Wait until we start raking in the big bucks, baby.
Oh yeah, that Dollar Shave Club. Let's make $3 whole a month.
Well,
with that subscription.
Listen, all I'm saying is
Sponsor me, Dollar
all
Shave
I'm
Club.
saying is fucking watch your back, Rogan.
Rogan.
Anyway,
That man doesn't need to be more paranoid. You don't need to put
That's
that
true.
out in the universe.
That's a good point. You know that he's Aaron Rodgers' personal health consultant?
Yeah, Troy, I did, because I still watch football, and they talk about it whenever Aaron's on the field. God damn, I fucking hate.
You know what? One thing that I have as an actual slight criticism for this episode.
Yeah, go for it.
The Mahler twins bit where one of them knows that they're the original one.
Oh yeah.
Should have gone a little bit longer.
You think so?
It should have maybe extended into the next episode a little bit. I understand why they want to go back to status quo a little bit. I just feel like there could have been one more episode of an original hamming it up a little.
Even if they didn't, it felt completely organic to me that happened.
Mm-hmm.
The Mahler twins are way too fucking smart for their own good, and if one of them is identifiable as the alpha, they will kill them and make a new clone.
Yeah.
I knew that would happen.
I knew that would happen. I just thought it would take a little bit longer. We only got really like 2 scenes of them doing it.
Yeah, but that's fine. They're so fucking smart. I knew that they were gonna kill the alpha super quick.
Yeah, that like I said, this is probably.
I'm surprised they were that the alpha was dumb enough to ask the beta to go make a drink for him.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, oh, you're fucking stupid. You just signed your own death certificate. Great job, idiot. Great job, you two-faced idiot. Because that's what he looks like, Two-Face from Batman.
Now he looks like the Mahler with the melted
But
side.
less gross. More gross? Less gross? What do you think?
He's animated. I feel like you don't get all of it.
Yeah, I guess that's
if you
true.
put him next to normal Two-Face, he's probably less gross.
Like Aaron Eckhart from Dark Knight.
If you put a realistic melted Mahler twin next to Aaron Eckhart Two-Face, it'd probably be a little bit different.
Aaron Eckhart Two-Face fascinated me as a child. I always wondered like how they did that. And then I was
Well,
like,
they melted half his face.
Oh, did they?
Yeah.
Is that why he doesn't act anymore?
Yeah, he doesn't do a whole lot because
Oh,
of his
man.
melted face.
Oh,
Yeah.
I mean, he's a method actor.
Dedication to the bit.
Super dedicated to his craft. Gotta love it. Gotta love it. Now, do they have like a Payday style mask of his face that he puts on when he goes out?
Yeah,
in public?
it's half of a mask.
Fucking hilarious.
It's like fucking Handsome Jack in Borderlands.
So, question for you, Troy. Where do we go from here?
I'd probably go home after this podcast. I'd go to bed. It's late. But I'm allowed one after the guillotine with a cape. But I mean, I think that the next 2-3 episodes are Mark being very, very paranoid on Mark has people he could tell. There's not really like a surveillance over his shoulder of a Viltrumite being like, if you tell anybody, you're dead, kid.
No,
Like-
because they're so confident in their abilities to just take over everything that
Yeah.
Earth has that they're just like, it doesn't matter if you warn them or not. Like, we're just gonna kill them.
I mean, who can he tell versus who can't he tell?
He can tell. I believe he's gonna tell Eve.
Okay.
He might tell Amber. I don't think he will. I don't think he'll tell Cecil. He might tell Cecil. He won't tell Immortal. I think that's it. He'll tell Eve and Cecil. He won't tell anyone else. I think that's where it is. Because Cecil might be able to help him come up with a plan, especially since after he fought the underwater beast, and there was the beast made that noise that like completely threw Mark on his ass. Cecil saved a clip of that and sent it down to the R&D department. So I imagine he's weaponizing that noise so that they can like at least stun Viltrumite soldiers. And I assume Cecil would be more than happy to test it out.
I don't know. Cecil's also sort of a paranoid old weirdo.
Cecil is more than a little paranoid, and he's definitely a huge weirdo. But when your job is to manage superheroes all over Earth and keep the planet safe, I guess you have to be. I do think Cecil is not a good guy. I think
Sure.
Cecil's definitely going to end up on the wrong side of Mark at some point, and we're going to get a fight Maybe not a fight, but certainly a fuck you, I'm done thing.
That I can see. I don't think that he's necessarily Cecil's not evil. He just sucks.
I mean, he's not evil in this grand scheme of what we're looking at, because we're looking at it on a galactic scale of Viltrumites conquering the universe.
He's doing a wider scale Tony Stark building Ultron situation.
Yeah, but also Tony wasn't a good guy in much of that movie.
Yeah. But you know what I mean.
He's a bad guy. He's just not the baddest guy.
He was just my brain immediately went to Zangief.
You are a bad guy, but that doesn't mean you are a bad guy.
Love Zangief.
Who doesn't love Zangief?
Nobody. Nazis. Nazis don't like Zangief.
All right, you just went completely straight to Nazis, huh? Just goose stepped over there. But I would love to see Mark fight Cecil eventually. I think that would be really cool. And I would also like to see the Guardians of the Globe maybe breaking off from the GDA. I don't know how that would work, but I think all of those kids individually, and to the Immortal to an extent, are good at heart, have good intentions, and I feel like Cecil is not the best person to be in charge of all that.
I think you could see a cut in half situation of like you get Immortal duplicate. You probably get Shapesmith. Just
Shapesmith.
He's too fucking dumb to know.
He's so fucking stupid. Oh my god, why have they not figured it out yet? Immortal should see right through it. He worked alongside the Martian Man. Like, why does he not see exactly what this is? Oh my god, he's so fucking stupid. Are you convinced the Immortal is a robot?
I don't think so.
Oh no. Okay.
Are there hints?
He's been ripped in half a few times.
Well, yeah, but that's why he's immortal. He was Abraham Lincoln.
Speaking of being ripped in half, right now on Fortnite you can buy the Invincible skins pack, so you can have.
And if you pick immortal, you can't die in the game.
No, but if it comes with Mark, Adam, Eve, and Omni-Man, and one of the backpacks you can wear is just Immortal's head, and the eyeballs just look around all over the place. It's kind of funny. Just thought I would share that real quick.
Would you wear a man's head on the back?
Not a zombie head, but if it's a man's head, just like looking around.
If it was Abraham Lincoln's head?
Oh, fuck yeah! I'd love to have Lincoln's head palling around with me, and like secretly judging everything I do. It's like, oh, you're going back for a second corn muffin? Okay, it's your body, man. And I'll be like, oh, come on, Abe.
Back in my day.
This reminds me of a very heated congressional hearing I was a part of. I don't care, Abe. I don't want to hear it today, buddy. All right? Jeff, you've been sitting there playing video games for a couple days now. When I was your age, I was fighting against slavery. Yes, Abe, I know. Thank you.
You would have to explain to him what a video game is. I feel like that would be a whole discussion.
Oh, no, we got past that part already.
Okay.
Yeah, I already explained what the magic boxes are and the controllers and all that.
Do you think he'd pay rent?
No. If a former president came back from the dead, would the Secret Service be obligated to protect them?
I feel like they got it, right?
Right? Like, they're supposed to protect all former presidents. Jimmy Carter's fucking 99. Dude still has Secret Service agents all day long. If Abraham Lincoln were to somehow come back from the dead, listen up, Robert Kirkman, I'm giving you a new fucking book here. Would the Secret Service would have to protect him, right? Which means that if he's stuck to me for whatever like buddy comedy logic that we come up with, that means I have the Secret Service following me around all day.
And they also become part of your buddy dynamic.
Yeah. Dude, I think we just wrote a movie.
I feel like
Did we just write a movie?
I feel like for this we have to pick like a real nobody president.
James Polk.
There you go.
Yeah. All right, cool.
I think this podcast is actually our pitch to the universe.
No, you gotta pick Garfield. President Garfield. He died President, what's his name? Harrison. Harrison died like
Harrison
30
Ford.
days into office because he delivered his speech, which was like fucking 2.5 hours long, in the middle of a pouring rainstorm. He caught pneumonia and he died shortly after. Shortest serving president.
All I'm saying is that this is a pitch to the universe. This podcast has always been just us actually trying to pitch our movie idea. If any studios are listening and want to pitch,
Zaslav, give me a call, buddy.
Yeah, Zaslav, if you want to give us a bunch of money and then cancel our movie at the last second, then you can drop.
I will take your money, and if you don't make my movie, that's fine. I'll keep working my job.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, I won't lose any sleep over that. I promise. You can fuck me over all you want as long as I get paid.
Yeah, we here at the TB&J podcast call ourselves big Zaz heads. We're big Zazzies.
Big Zazzies, as we call ourselves in the industry. Oh yeah, he's the best thing to happen to Hollywood since James Dean.
We also think the CEOs do a whole lot.
Oh, for sure, yeah.
We think that
they take all the credit every time.
We think that they probably can't do it without you. Are we done this podcast?
Yeah, I can't keep up this bit anymore. I'm super excited to see where this show goes. I love that Debbie is turning over a new leaf. I love that Nolan is turning over a new leaf. He's got his redemption arc all lined up. He just has to keep going. He seems like he's turning into a really good guy. I love that Mark is getting set up for his dark season with the dark blue suit. Because if he goes back to Earth and he's got to be dark and evil and try to take over Earth, that might be super cool to watch. Especially if he comes to blows with like his friends and the Guardians and Adam Eve, excuse me. There's just so many things that are getting teed up, and right when the show is set to like knock them out of the park, it cuts and it's just like, all right, sit on your hands for a few months until we give you the next 4 episodes, you stupid dogs. You stupid pieces of shit. You're gonna gobble them up as soon as we give them to you, so we're gonna make you wait. That's what it feels like. Thank you, Daddy Bezos. You're too good for us.
We also love Jeff Bezos here on this podcast.
I'm gonna just... Yep, there we go.
We think he's hot and cool, and
he is definitely not hot. His head looks like a scrotum.
No, we always talk about how he's hot and cool and sick.
How can you be hot and cool at the same time, Troy? That makes no sense.
I don't like you. See you next week with more Invincible.
Oh, wait, that's the joke, right?
The funniest part of the joke is saying that's the joke, right?